Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, October 24th. Markets are closed. The trading week is over. It's about 6:15 at night, and this is our daily recap video for what I like to call the $1 billion club. It's YieldMax's 4 individual income funds that have assets under management over $1 billion. They've got Cony, Misty, NVDY, and TSLY. Reminder, I'm on X at ETF_Inspector1, posting all things related to the channel, the video, the YouTube videos, and the different ETFs that we talk about. This is pretty cool. 4,990 something subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button. Be the 5,000th, and you'll win a free dad joke at the end of the video. All right, let's take a look at how the market performed today. First off, Coinbase went nuts, up almost 10%. Cony was able to capture a very large portion of that, 7.72%. Usually when we get moves that big, we are not able to, we're capped, but luckily there was plenty of room in the sold calls to get most of that. MSTR up 1.46%. Misty actually outperformed in an up market. We like that. I'll be able to explain why when we take a look at the trades. Nvidia was up 2.25%. Nvidia not quite able to keep up, 1.86% increase. And Tesla can't make up its mind. They dropped on good earnings report, then they went up the next day afterwards, then they dropped back down again. 3.4% drop today. TSLY was able to outperform, only dropping 2.13%. All right, let's take a look at how things went within the trading. We'll just go in alphabetical order. And it's Friday, so we're not going to really worry too much on certain aspects because we'll look at the week ahead over the weekend. So Cony, while they were doing well throughout the week, when your underlying takes off that much on expiration day, you're going to end up paying a lot of money to close out. So we're not really going to sit here and worry about different strike prices. Just understand everything that was expiring today had to get closed out and rolled. That cost $19.6 million on the options trading day. So just a quick sneak peek, right? $22, $24, $23, paying lots of money to close these out. $23. Yeah, so a lot of them ended up costing $20-something to close out. And then you're obviously going to pay a nice chunk for the long calls on the other side of the call spread moving forward. So, for example, like this portion here, while you're able to collect almost $16 selling the new call, buying the other end of it takes up all but $4.60 of that, $4.56 of it. So that's just kind of the nature of the beast. So $19 million drop. We'll go over all the specific details on the Sunday week look ahead video. And so let's take a look at the holdings. As you can see, every sold call that they had ended up in the money. That's what the red means. So in the money sounds like a great thing. It's not the case if you are selling options. If you're buying options, you'd love for them to be in the money. If you're selling options, you want them to expire worthless because then you sold it, collected money for it, and then don't have to pay anything to close it out. Now, these guys will always pay to close it out, but if it's out of the money, it could end up being pennies. This is unfortunate. Like, these were 40 cents to close out yesterday. Let's just look at them real quick. 47.70, 340s. Where are they? 47.70, 340. So if we'd have closed them out yesterday, they'd have cost 40 cents. Today they cost $5.73. So that was a little bit painful. But if you knew what was going to happen today, you'd be rich. So, Cony did a good job increasing, right? Assets under management at the start of the day, $1.2 billion. Obviously, that's going to increase nicely with the underlying jumping by almost 10%. So these synthetics that they have at 300 and 390, the 300s, we did see a change yesterday. People, or not people buying it, we saw people buying into the fund yesterday, 2.4 million new outstanding shares, bringing it up to a little over 202 million. But then that also resulted in adding to the synthetic at 300. So it was a good time to do it. This took place before, this took place during yesterday's trading. So instantly these 300s increased along with everything else as it moved up. So they are now 15% in the money. This $44 million value is before the day started. So obviously with a 10% increase, the calls will become much more valuable. The puts will be much less expensive to close out. Obviously our 390 synthetics going to still be underwater because the share price of Coin is 354, well below that 390. What else do we want to talk about next week? Just to keep in mind, next Thursday, Coinbase will be announcing earnings. Next Wednesday, we're going to hear our next declaration. Today, if you have Cony, you receive 9.32 cents per share. And now that percentage isn't what it was when they announced it. Obviously, that is changing based off of the share price. So with the share price jumping up, that'll turn that into a smaller number. But at the time of the announcement, I believe it was like 79%. Okay, next up, Misty. Misty had a very nice trading day, bringing in $7 million. The nice thing was they had only sold about 64% of the possible calls. They had already rolled them yesterday. So now today they had a large chunk of options that they were able to sell without having to buy to close anything out. And that's what you're seeing taking place. Sell short, sell short. This is all selling of calls for next week. These buys are buying of the long call on the other side of the spread. So not having to pay anything to close out on a day where MSTY was up almost 1.5%, that makes it to where everything you own goes up 1.5%. Since none of your calls that are already sold went into the money, that doesn't hurt any. And then you were also able to sell a whole lot more calls, generating more income because you hadn't sold 100%. That's why Misty actually was able to outperform MSTR, going up even more. So very, very nice day trading. Yesterday, people sold out of the fund 1.8 million shares, bringing it down to 283 million, 3.2 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. Again, that will increase because MSTR was up about 1.5%. 1156 was the NAV at the start of the day, 1174 closing price or thereabouts, right? Excel, it sometimes, especially on Fridays, takes a long time to finish settling out those last pennies. All these synthetics are hurting bad. 330, 345, and 350. At the start of the day, we're going to cost 225 million, 202 million, and 182 million. So those will all move closer to zero, but not actually close, just in the right direction. They'll all still be way negative, but a little bit better than they were at the start of the day. Strategy is going to also announce next Thursday their earnings. Next Wednesday, we'll get MSTY's declaration. They most recently paid 21.22 cents per share. Announced on Wednesday, X on Thursday, paid today. They adjusted this synthetic. They didn't adjust the synthetic. They just reduced it by 750 contracts yesterday. Now, normally, right then I go through and I talk about how far in or out of the money. These are all out to next week. It's Friday. We don't care about next week's options, especially because we just added to them. So on Sunday, that's when we start looking at next week's options. So I'll make a separate video for that. So Friday, we just see how much money did we make and did we have a good day or not? And let's get our weekend started. NVDY is the next one up. They made $5.3 million on the option trades today, rolling to next week. As you can see, paying 57 cents to close out, 57 cents, 37. And what are we selling for? $2, $2, almost $2, over $2, over $2. So very nice. The numbers worked out well for them. Let's see. Okay, that's about all I want to talk about on this page. We can see that some calls did end up going in the money, but it just wasn't too much. Now, also, was it a late? Yeah, it was kind of a late move. So depending on at what time in the day, if they close things out at market open, or usually they do it pretty early. So they were. What in the world was I just looking at? NVDY. Oh, sorry. Yeah, down here in this, it sat under 185, started under 185, sat under there. So they were probably able to make out pretty nice. Let's see, 11,185s. They're going to do it at different times, but only paying 37 cents, 57 cents. That's beautiful, especially when you figure that it ended $1.26 in the money. So that could have cost almost triple what they paid. So they did a good job on the early morning closeout. All right, but let's see. Yesterday, people bought into the fund 125,000 new shares, bringing it up to 112,125,000. Assets under management at the start, 1.7 billion, leaving your NAV at 1561. Obviously, if the underlying moved up, the share price went with it for NVDY, closing around 1591. This is nice. Both synthetics expire in about a month, a little under a month, and they're at 165, 170. Both are doing well, worth 96 million and 54 million at the start of the day, and they're going to increase nicely with a 2.25% increase of the underlying. Nvidia, we still have some time on this one. 11/19 is when they announce earnings. Next week on Wednesday, we will hear the declaration for distribution of Nvidia. They paid 12.06 cents per share this week, and so we will come up with a guess at what we think next week will be. All right, and finally, TSLY. TSLY had a lot of trades, bringing in $7.7 million of profit or credit, however you want to look at it. Let's see, what are we paying? $1.14 to close out, 76, 47, 63, 46, 59. So not bad. Selling for over $7, almost $8, close to $8. Yep, $7 to $8. So very nice. Closeout day, Fridays rolling. It's where a lot of the money happens. And as you can see, everything ended out of the money. So these will all be gone. These are all closed and rolled out. But since they all ended out of the money, that's why they're going to be cheap to close. And you're going to get to have a nice big difference between what you're paying to close and what you're selling for. Now, unfortunately, it was an ugly day for TSLY. And it actually might work out well if they closed early, because then they're going to have sold a higher strike. So if the share price continue dropping further and further, we're going to start with a lot of our calls sold well out of the money. We're going to have lots of room to run before we're capped. But TSLY dropped 3.4%. TSLY went down with it, but not quite as bad. 1.2 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. People were selling out big time yesterday. Almost 2 million shares, dropping to 149,350,000. NAV started the day at 844 and dropped a little bit to 825. They did remove some of the synthetic at 415, 700 contracts worth. That was yesterday, so we saw that in yesterday's trades, and then we picked it up in today's holdings. The download comes out real late at night, last night. So these are both worth money, 60 million and 36 million. Both expire in about a month. They will have both decreased in value after what happened today. So let's see, 420. Yep. So they're still both okay. They're still both in the positive. Tesla already announced today, earnings this week. We already talked about that. So on Wednesday, we'll find out what TSLY's paying. Most recently, this week, they paid 16.52 cents per share. All right, that's all I've got for you. Trying to keep it short and sweet. Got it at 15 minutes. So again, there's a new series just started it this week. So I will have a week look ahead video on Sunday, and we'll make a little guesstimate at what we think they're going to pay. But thanks for watching. Appreciate all the likes, shares, and comments. Here's your dad joke of the day. I forget who'd I say would get it. Oh, maybe we got to 5,000 subscribers now. So here's what you won: the dad joke. You were gonna get it. You were gonna get it anyway. Okay, biologists have crossed a watermelon with a cauliflower. People who eat the new variety get a sense of sadness, known as melancholy. All right, have a good weekend. And that's it. Catch you in the next video.